Maya is traumatized. You ruined our moment. Stay away from us until you apologize. That was the text my brother sent me. He was not asking if I was okay. He was not asking if the ambulance got there in time. He was angry that my injury had ruined his fiancée's mood. I looked at the nurse stitching the gash on my forehead. Then I looked at the phone. I did not argue. I did not ask how he could be so cruel. I typed one word: done. Then I switched apps. I found the email chain from the title company, the one marked clear to close. It had the loan officer, the real estate agents, and the attorneys all copied on it. I did not write a long story. I just attached my emergency room discharge papers and hit reply all to understand why I blew up the deal. You have to understand where the money came from. I am 33 years old, and my hands are a map of scar tissue. I work as a sous chef in one of the busiest kitchens in Seattle. That $85,000 for the down payment was not just a number on a screen. It was 11 years of grease burns, missed holidays, varicose veins, and 16-hour shifts standing on hard rubber mats. Ethan never had those scars. He was the golden boy. I was the bank account. 3 months ago, he brought Sienna to my apartment. She sat on my second-hand couch, wrinkling her nose at the smell of my work jacket, and pitched me their dream. She wanted a $900,000 custom build in the hills. She talked about floor-to-ceiling windows and a content studio for her brand. The bank is being difficult, she said, waving a perfectly manicured hand. That was generous. Her credit score was 562. She had more designer debt than annual income, but she had Ethan wrapped around her finger, and Ethan had my mother's dying wish wrapped around my throat. Take care of your brother, Maya. He needs you. So I agreed. I signed as guarantor. I emptied my savings for the down payment and the closing costs. For 3 months, I worked double shifts to cover the unexpected upgrades Sienna demanded. While I was sweating over a grill, scraping carbon off steel, my phone buzzed with Instagram notifications. There was Sienna standing on the empty lot I paid for, holding a glass of champagne. The caption read, "Building our empire, dream house loading." She never tagged me. She never thanked me. She treated me like unpaid staff. She would text at midnight with messages like, "Transfer $6K for the marble upgrade. The quartz looked cheap." I paid it. I kept my mouth shut. I told myself I was honoring my mother. I told myself I was securing Ethan's future. I was financing my own disrespect. The final walkthrough happened 48 hours before closing. The house was still a skeleton of ambition, exposed beams, concrete dust, and the sharp smell of sawdust hanging in damp air. I parked my 12-year-old sedan beside Sienna's leased Mercedes. She was already filming, phone held high, panning across the unfinished porch while narrating about vision boards and manifestation. Ethan followed her like a shadow, holding her handbag. I walked up the temporary wooden steps, my boots thudding against plywood. "Ugh," Sienna groaned, lowering her phone. She pointed toward the edge of the lot, where a rugged gray box was mounted high on a utility pole. "Maya, tell the contractor to move that ugly thing. It's ruining the backdrop for my intro." I glanced at the box. The red light blinked once. "It's a motion sensor lumber theft camera," I said evenly. "Materials are expensive. It stays." She rolled her eyes and turned back to the lens. "Fine, nobody watches those gritty security feeds anyway." She led us to the back patio, a slab of curing concrete overlooking a muddy slope. She spun around with a bright, dangerous smile. "Okay, here's the surprise." She clapped her hands. "I told the builder to add the infinity pool package. It's only another $55,000. We can roll it into the loan, right?" My stomach dropped. "Sienna, the loan is maxed out. I already covered the marble and the smart glass. There is no extra $55,000. "Then write a check," she shrugged, brushing imaginary lint off her jacket. "You have savings." "That was my retirement," I said. "That was everything. I have $18 in my checking account until payday." "The answer is no." The air shifted. Her smile vanished. She stepped closer, invading my space. Her perfume, something heavy and floral, clogged my throat. "Stop acting like a martyr, Maya. It's embarrassing." Her voice dropped low enough that Ethan, standing 10 feet away, might miss it, but I heard every word. "Look at you," she sneered, gesturing to my worn boots, my messy bun, my exhausted face. "You're 33, you're single, and let's be honest, you're probably barren. No husband, no kids. What else are you going to do with your money? Take it to the grave?" I stood frozen. The cruelty was surgical. "Buying this house for us is the only useful thing you'll ever do, so stop whining and pay for the pool. It's your responsibility." "My responsibility?" I voiced. "My responsibility was to my mother. She asked me to look after Ethan, not bankroll a parasite." Sienna's eyes flashed. She let out a sharp animal scream. "Don't you dare talk about her. She's dead because she exhausted herself, just like you." She lunged. Her hands hit my chest with force. It wasn't a stumble, it was a shove. My boots slipped on loose gravel scattered across the slab. My arms windmilled, grabbing at air. Gravity took over. I fell backward off the unfinished porch. The world spun, blue sky, gray concrete, twisted metal. My shoulder struck a pile of construction debris. A white-hot bolt of pain exploded down my arm as my head slammed into the dirt and everything went dark. My head hit the ground hard enough to rattle my teeth. For a moment there was only the high-pitched whine of tinnitus. Then the pain flooded in. I tried to roll onto my side, but my arm would not respond. I looked up. Sienna stood on the edge of the porch, staring down at me. For a split second there was real fear in her eyes. Then she blinked and the expression vanished. Ethan rushed to the ledge. "Oh my God, Maya," he started, climbing down. "Stop," Sienna snapped, grabbing his arm with iron fingers. She slipped. "Look at her, she's fine." "She's bleeding," Ethan stammered, staring at the blood sliding toward my eye. "She's being dramatic," Sienna said, already pulling him back to the driveway. "We're leaving. If we stay, she'll blame me. Get in the car." Ethan looked at me, curled in the dirt, clutching my shoulder. Then he looked at Sienna. He lowered his head and walked to the car. I watched through dust and pain as the Mercedes taillights disappeared down the hill. The nurse pressed the last strip of gauze against my forehead and left me alone with the hum of the hospital vent. I told myself Ethan was trapped. I told myself he was caught in Sienna's orbit and just needed time. That's why I paid. That's why I tolerated it. I thought I was buying his freedom. But sitting there, smelling antiseptic and dried blood, the truth settled in. Ethan was not trapped. He was driving the getaway car. He saw me fall. He heard the crack of my shoulder. And when she told him to leave, he did not hesitate. He did not call 911. He did not turn around. He chose comfort over conscience. My phone buzzed. A notification from the title company app. Transaction confirmed. Wire transfer received. $45,000. I stared at the number. Sienna had drained a hidden account she swore did not exist and wired it to escrow for closing. She had gone all in. She thought I was broken and compliant. She thought she had won. I looked down at the discharge paperwork resting on my lap. Concussion, grade 3 AC joint separation, lifting restriction 0 pounds, work status incapacitated, estimated recovery 6 months. I am a sous chef. If I cannot lift a pan, I cannot work. If I cannot work, I have no income. And in mortgage language, that is called a material adverse change. I reopened the draft email with the subject, urgent notification of material adverse change. I photographed the medical report and attached it. I kept my message clinical. To whom concern, as guarantor for the loan on 782 Ridgecrest Avenue, I am legally obligated to inform you of a sudden change in my financial status. As of today, I am medically incapacitated and will have 0 income for 6 months. Please see attached documentation. I cannot sign closing documents under penalty of mortgage fraud. Regards, Maya. I hit send. The next morning, my phone vibrated itself off the nightstand. 46 missed calls, 25 from Ethan, 21 from Sienna. Fix this. Pick up. The bank said no. You can't do this. I ignored them and opened the email from the title company. Notice of financing failure due to guarantor withdrawal. Buyer in default. Seller elects to retain earnest money deposit of $45,000 as liquidated damages. Sienna had waived the financing contingency to make her offer stronger. Now the safety net was gone, and so was her deposit. My phone pinged again. Sienna Vale is live. I opened the stream. She was in the front seat of the Mercedes, mascara streaked down her cheeks, voice shaking. I don't understand why she hates us. My fiancé's sister attacked me at the site yesterday. She pushed me. She knew I was pregnant. She tried to hurt my baby. Thousands of viewers flooded the comments. Call the police. Sue her. Monsters run in families. We lost the house, Sienna sobbed. She stole our deposit. We're staying in a roadside motel. If anyone can help, link in bio. A donation link appeared on the screen. She was good. She took her shove and flipped it into a narrative where I was the villain. I closed the app. I did not argue online. I did not defend myself in comments. I called Nolan, the construction foreman. Nolan, that security camera on the lumber pile, does it record audio? Crystal clear video and audio, he said. Why? Send me the clip from yesterday, 4:15 p.m. Already pulled it. Check your email. The file arrived within seconds. The angle showed the unfinished porch, Sienna stepping into my space. Every word of her insult, the shove, my fall, her grabbing Ethan's arm and dragging him away while I lay still in the dirt. I forwarded the footage to the detective who took my statement. Evidence for case number 61184, assault and false report. 2 hours later, a friend sent me a shaky cell phone video from the parking lot of a budget motel off the highway. It showed Sienna in handcuffs, shouting that she was a public figure. It showed Ethan standing outside room 212, holding a takeout bag, watching as she was placed into the back of a squad car. He did not protest. He did not chase the car. He just watched it leave. 3 weeks later, I moved into a small studio above a bakery downtown. 400 square feet, brick wall view, radiator that clanked at night. It was quiet, and it was mine. The floorboards creaked, the radiator hissed, and my view was nothing but brick. It was perfect. I sat on a yoga mat, slowly rotating my shoulder. The joint felt stiff, like a rusted hinge, but the blinding lightning bolt of pain was gone. The stitches above my eyebrow had been removed, leaving behind a thin pink scar that disappeared into my hairline. My phone rested beside me. I opened my banking app. Available balance, $87,950. The down payment, the closing costs, the emergency fund. Every dollar I had scraped off a grill for over a decade was back where it belonged. Sienna had not touched a cent of it. In fact, by losing her $45,000 deposit, she had unintentionally reimbursed me for every marble slab and designer upgrade she bullied me into funding. Karma is a forensic accountant. A notification popped up from my doorbell camera. Motion detected. I tapped it. Ethan stood in the hallway outside my apartment. He looked hollow. His jacket was wrinkled. His beard was uneven. He raised his fist and knocked. Maya, I know you're in there. Please. Sienna's bail is set to $10,000. We don't have it. Mom wouldn't want this. She wouldn't want her in jail. I watched him through the grainy screen. The boy I used to carry on my back. I did not unlock the door. I pressed the microphone icon. Mom is gone, Ethan, and the ATM is closed. Maya, please, she's pregnant. No, I said calmly, she isn't. The detective confirmed that during intake. She lied, just like she lied about everything else. Silence stretched between us. Then I ended the connection. I opened his contact card and blocked the number. I went to the stove and poured a cup of chamomile. The steam curled into the quiet air. Silence had never sounded so expensive. 6 months after the closing date that never happened, I sat in the back of courtroom 2C. I watched Sienna Vale stand before the judge without filters, without lighting, without an audience she could mute. She wore an orange uniform that clashed with the confidence she used to wear like perfume. The charges were aggravated assault and filing a false police report. The plea deal was swift: 18 months in county custody, 3 years probation, restitution ordered in the amount of $13,200 for medical bills and lost wages. But the true sentence was financial. The seller had kept her $45,000 deposit. Legal fees drained what little credit she had left. Her car was repossessed. Her brand evaporated overnight. As the bailiff led her away, she turned her head. She wasn't looking for me. She was looking for Ethan. He sat 2 rows behind me in an ill-fitting suit, staring at the floor, like he was waiting for instructions. He did not wave. He did not cry. He just sat there. That was the last time I saw either of them. 3 months later, a letter arrived at the bakery downstairs with my name written in Ethan's uneven handwriting. I stood over the recycling bin in the alley holding the envelope. I already knew the script inside. Apologies, excuses, claims of manipulation, a final paragraph asking for a small loan to start over, the anthem of the enabler. I was a victim too. I did not open it. I did not rip it in half. I simply dropped it into the blue bin and went back inside to shape sourdough. That evening, my apartment was not quiet. My friend Lena chopped vegetables at the counter. Nolan was under my sink attempting to fix a leak while telling a terrible joke. There was music playing. There was laughter. These people did not share my blood. But when I fell, Nolan sent the footage. When I couldn't work, Lena brought groceries without asking for repayment. I looked around at the steam rising from the stove and realized something simple. DNA is not loyalty. If you felt anger when Ethan drove away and left me in the dirt, listen carefully. We spend so much energy hating the villain, the one who pushes, lies, and manipulates. But the villain is obvious. The villain holds the weapon. The dangerous one is the enabler. For years, I told myself Ethan was weak. I told myself he needed saving. I paid his bills because I believed love required sacrifice. I was wrong. He wasn't a passenger. He was the getaway driver. He didn't shove me, but he watched it happen and chose the driver's seat over my safety. He chose comfort over loyalty. We stay in toxic family cycles because of sunk cost. We look at the years, the money, the emotional labor, and we think if we just invest a little more, they'll finally love us properly. You're not investing in love. You're underwriting your own disrespect. So here are the 3 rules I live by now. I paid them with a dislocated shoulder and a scar across my forehead. Rule 1. Access is a privilege, not a blood right. Sharing DNA does not grant immunity from consequences. If a stranger treated you the way your family does, you would walk away. Stop giving family behavior a discount. Rule 2. The enabler is an accomplice. Silence in the face of abuse is not neutrality. It is consent. Stop trying to rescue people who are comfortable watching you drown. Rule 3. Financial boundaries are emotional boundaries. Never sign a contract for someone who would not bleed for you. Money is just energy with a receipt attached. If someone demands your money while dismissing your worth, close the wallet. I am Maya. I have a scar on my forehead, a small rented studio, and a piece that cost less than an infinity pool. Who in your life is holding the match while asking you to keep them warm? Don't wait for the shove. Walk away. Most people scroll past stories like this. The ones who subscribe are the ones trying to change something inside themselves. If this made you stop scrolling, subscribe to get more stories like this every day. And if this story meant something to you, comment below and share it with someone you love.